Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV. I hadn't originally intended to make a video today. I was going to literally take the rest of the week off. I had another video planned for the weekend. That will still go on ahead on schedule. But we got a bit of an emergency situation here. And indeed, the clue is given away in the background behind me, which is a scene from 1984. We got Winston there, writing his diary, reading the book, the banned book, and of course just out of sight of the telescreen, which has it's a television, but it's on a camera, so it's watching you at the same time as you're watching it. Now, and of course the titles explain everything. Basically, as the titles explain, Bitchute has been banned in the UK. It has been blocked, according to Bitchute themselves. They've just published an article. I'll just put this up in a moment, and I'll just read what I found. I'll just read what I found. And now, as I said, this was not going to be a day for videos. I was not going to make a video today. I was just going to do my preparation for the Panwo show on Panwo Radio tomorrow. But I got home from work and I saw this. Let me just show you what I just went to log into Bitchute. And I saw this. There we go, Bitchute. Here we go. This is what you see if you log into the Bitchute in the UK. It's bitchute.com/UK regulation. And I'll read it out to you. What it says, I've got it here. To our valued users in the United Kingdom, after careful review and ongoing evaluation of the regulatory landscape in the United Kingdom, we regret to inform you that Bitchute will be discontinuing its video sharing service for UK residents. It only mentions the UK. I don't know if this includes, very often when they say UK, they mean Ireland as well. I've just written to Sweeps Fox to ask him if he can still see it on his side of the water. But yeah, when they say, anyway, that's... but usually, there's very few globalist reforms that the UK doesn't adopt that Ireland doesn't also. Usually Ireland are a bit ahead of us, actually. So it's just continuing its video sharing service for UK residents. And it continues. The introduction of the UK Online Safety Act of 2023 has brought about significant changes in the regulatory framework governing online content and community interactions. Right, yeah, this is, I wrote a Panwo Voice article about this a little while ago. This one, where is it? But I did do a Panwo Voice article about this just to, so you can actually see some background if you want, but I'll go through the basics here. So this basically what happened was the Online Safety Act went live in the UK. Now there's a long sordid history to this. A lot, and I've talked about it. Other people have talked about it. I've written about it many times. But basically, it's sort of immediately. It's not long ago. Actually, it was only at the beginning of April, which is literally just just a week ago. This act became law, and it started off with the Kiwi Farms website. Now, very often these reforms, like we say which is the case with Bitchute, the government aren't actually saying we need you or we're going to force you off the internet. What they're saying is we're going to make your life so difficult that you will voluntarily discontinue your service for this country. That's what they're saying. It's always the way. They want to ban something, but they don't say they want to ban it. Firstly, they create a bill that has some ulterior motive. The ulterior motive is the censorship, but it's always the primary objective is always portrayed as something benevolent, like the Online Safety Act. It's just keeping people safe online. This is actually a rereading of the Online Harms Bill, which I said the moment Starmer was elected, I said Labour would reread that bill, and they did. It's a monstrosity that ground its way through Parliament for several years. It was blocked. The original online harms were blocked by the House of Lords over that legal but still harmful clause. By the way, I will not hear a word against the House of Lords, man. I will not. They've been absolutely. This is why Starmer wants to get rid of the hereditary peers. For the sake of democracy, he wants to get rid of the hereditary peers. For democracy, to get rid of the unelected peers, because they're unelected dictators and they're evil old white men and things like this. Of course, he's going to replace them with his, former cabinet ministers and sycophantic party donors. But I said, the rereading this. I knew they wouldn't give up. The rise of Starmer is going to lead to a rereading of that bill, and it did. They changed the name, still the same basic message, still the same basic effects. Now, the government doesn't give a toss about public safety, never has done. They don't care about any harms that we the people might come to. It's their excuse. They cannot call it. They cannot call it the Internet Censorship Act, can they? They can't call it the Internet Censorship Act. We want to bring this in because the people of this country are getting access to too much information, real information that is dissenting against government narrative. They couldn't call it that, and they couldn't describe it thus. So what does it do? As I said, they're going to hold their hands up and they're going to say, "This is not censorship. We're not forcing anyone to stop their websites in this country. We're not forcing anyone." Oh, it's always and it's exactly the same tactic they use with the old V words, isn't it? We're not forcing you to take this medication. You're perfectly free to say no, but we'll make your life impossible if you do. See, what this act does, it compels online platforms to accept a duty of care in which they take personal responsibility for the content posted by their users, and they will face a massive fine if they breach a set of parameters. It's usually the usual thing, and these come under various headings, such as child sexual abuse, controlling or coercive behaviour, extreme sexual violence, extreme pornography, fraud, racially or religiously aggravated public order offences, inciting violence, illegal immigration and people smuggling, promoting or facilitating suicide, intimate image abuse, selling illegal drugs or weapons, sexual exploitation, foreign interference, terrorism, and hate offences. Right, now what strikes me about that list immediately is that most of what is on it is already illegal, and there are already laws in place to deal with them. The exceptions being intimate image abuse, which I take it means what is known as revenge porn, the publishing of private images of somebody during a miscarriage of romance, which were meant to be kept secret. This is what James Casbolt was convicted of. Whether he did it or not, I don't know. I'm not going to comment now, but that's what he was convicted of. And then they mention illegal immigration and people smuggling. Well, the government themselves are the worst offenders for that. And foreign interference, I assume, refers to Russians, but they get blamed for anything anyway. The key point is hate offences. That's the key point. It's the last one on the list, hate offences, because as we've seen many times, that could mean almost anything. I've seen very benign phrases such as, quote, white people are not evil, unquote, being designated as hate speech. And this emphasis on protecting children has been repeated again and again and again throughout the media. In the BBC article, they say quite clearly, what was it? Let me just find the link so I know. Let me just quote them exactly. What was it? Here we go. What the Online Safety Act is and how to keep children safe online. That's a very, very is biased, to say the least, isn't it? It's not exactly impartial. If the government, specifically the BBC, gave a damn about children, I'm sure it would do something about the nonces in its own ranks, but they don't, because they don't care about children. And what the purpose of this is simply to head off any dissident thought at the pass with moral blackmail. And they're saying that's the purpose of these headlines. So when I say what I'm going to say, some people will come forward and say, what? You oppose this? Don't you care about children then? And it's interesting, actually, that all the big Silicon Valley media companies, with the exception of Twitter in the recent years, they've been behaving as if the Online Safety Act was already in place anyway. So they've been acting, people like Facebook, YouTube have been behaving for almost a decade as if this law were already in place. And of course, I've fallen foul of it. I've lost videos, as you know. It's as if somebody had a word in their ear and just said, look, hang in there. This will all be in black and white very, very soon. It's like they planned it years and years in advance. Now, Ofcom is not going to use this law to keep anyone safe. It's going to be applied selectively to silence outspoken critics of government activities. So far, no perverts have been arrested. No, I would say websites, sources of file sharing for illegal pornography, for example, criminally obscene material. None of those have been shut down. What has happened is a forum for cycling has been closed, and another website for hamster keepers. I kid you not, hamsters. So I mean, I said, when this was all going through a couple of months ago, I thought, well, is this going to affect me? And the answer is certainly. I am the kind of user who threatens these official narratives. And I actually wrote in my article a couple of weeks ago, I'm not sure how long I'll be able to access certain websites in such a scenario. Well, we'll come on to that. We'll come on to access pretty soon. But of course, logging in identifies your location in the world. So even if you're using a VPN, you can still be traced if you log in. So I'll come on to the solutions in a minute. But we do have our beloved old techies. These include Elon Musk. Andrew Talbot of Gab is standing up to this. So you'll be pleased to know that Gab is actively resisting this. Why Bitchute is not? I'm not going to judge Ray right now. I'll come on to that. But I'll come on to the solutions in a minute. But either way, this is an IT arms race, and we are facing a problem here. We're facing a problem, definitely. But so this is what I should have guessed that something like this would happen. In fact, it was pretty obvious something like this would happen. But Bitchute continues with their notification here. He talks about online content and community interactions, its regulatory framework. And it continues, notably, the Act contains sweeping provisions and onerous, O-N-E-R-O-U-S, I don't know what that means, onerous corrective measures with respect to content moderation and enforcement. Yeah, as I've just explained, they now have a forced duty of care. I'm perfectly happy, actually. I'd be perfectly happy to live in a world in which the user, like myself, took full legal responsibility for my content. I'd be happy to do that. In fact, I've done that. In fact, literally just yesterday, I deleted a comment from Bitchute. It was one that was posted on my most recent video, that is Weird Weekend North 2025. I deleted it because basically this person was fed posting. And I'll say more. I'll give you more details in the next reply to comments video. But this person posted something which can only be described as fed posting. I warned them never to do that again, and I deleted the comment. I'm happy to take responsibility in that sense. It continues. In particular, the broad enforcement powers granted to the regulator of communication services, Ofcom, have raised concerns regarding the open-ended and unpredictable nature of regulatory compliance for our platform. So that is a way of saying that. I mean, this is not new. Ofcom have been breathing down Bitchute's neck for a long, long time now. So it's actually understandable that they would go for Ofcom first. Whether they'll go for others, Gab, Minds, Bitchute, Odyssey, etc., we'll see. But I'll come on to that in a minute. But Ofcom have been targeting Bitchute for years, possibly because it is a British company, I don't know, but it doesn't. Even if it was a foreign registered company, it would still to provide services in the UK, would still have to comply with UK law. But regarding the open-ended and unpredictable nature of regulatory compliance for our platform, that's another way of saying that there's lots and lots of people out there who use it, who like to say things online, say things on the platform. As I said, I believe, I mean, I know that Bitchute do remove illegal material. They do have, I believe I mean, I have heard some people even complained because they've removed illegal material. I don't know why. But of course, I'm not, when I'm a free speech absolutist, but I know that that doesn't mean you can like threaten people. It doesn't mean you can defame people, like spread false allegations against them. It doesn't mean you can, cry fire in a crowded theatre, like saying something that could like cause people to behave in a dangerous manner, or indeed incite criminal activity. I know that. And that is a free speech. That's not under the realm of free speech. That is criminal speech, and I don't have a problem with that. However, as I've said, saying white people are not evil is kind of like it's been lumped in with all those other pieces of criminal speech. So what they're saying is they cannot. They're saying that it's impossible for them to comply completely with this law, and that's through no fault of their own. I mean, they have the ability to moderate, but they can't moderate to the extent that Ofcom are now demanding with the Online Safety Act. And the idea is, as I said, the idea is simply because the government don't want Bitchute in the UK. That's why. And they don't want any of these alt tech platforms. And it continues. The Bitchute platform has always operated on principles of freedom of speech, expression, and association, and strive to foster an open and inclusive environment for content creators and audiences alike. I know, and I appreciate that. I think Ray's heart is in the right place, and he's really worked hard to do this. Now, he's made some mistakes, and I've talked about that in the past. But Ray Vahi, actually, I consider him a hero in this movement. He carries on. However, the evolving regulatory pressures, including strict enforcement mechanisms and potential liabilities, have created an operational landscape in which continuing to serve the UK market exposes our company to unacceptable legal and compliance risks. There you have it. So they're basically saying is we can't control our own service to the extent where we know we're always going to comply with this law, and we won't be hit with these massive, crippling fines. The fines are enormous. I think it's like £18 million, and or half your annual revenue, depending on which is the greater. They say depending on which is the greater. The fines are intended to bankrupt. And for all I know, and it wouldn't surprise me, the government have created like stock accounts to go and to post literally post material all over alt tech that breaches these regulations simply to shut these people down. Wouldn't surprise me if they've done that. It continues. Despite our best efforts to navigate these challenges, the uncertainty surrounding the OSA's Online Safety Act's enforcement by Ofcom and its far-reaching implications leaves us no viable alternative but to cease normal operations in the UK. Therefore, effective immediately, Bitchute platform users in the UK will no longer be able to view content produced by any other Bitchute user. Because the OSA's primary concern is that members of the public will view content deemed unsafe, like bloody hell. They don't care about safety. I've told you, they don't care. It says here, because the, he says here, I'll read the whole sentence actually. Because the OSA's primary concern is that members of the public will view content deemed unsafe. However, we will permit UK Bitchute users to continue to post content. Right. I haven't actually looked at that, but if you look at the actual page now, I've not tried this yet. I'm not going to try it just yet. I just want to do this first. But you can actually, there's these buttons here at the top. You don't have the normal login function. but there is here manage content and keep in touch. So what that means is there's probably some way that I can continue to upload material to Bitchute for as long as, well, is the government now going to make it illegal? I'll come to that in a minute. Are the government now going to pass a law saying that if you can't just not see Bitchute, if you're British, you're not allowed to upload there? I don't know. We'll see. But that's probably not possible under the current legislation. But they'll think of a new law. You wait and see. So it says here, we will permit UK Bitchute users to continue to post content. So that means we can upload content to Bitchute. We can, but you won't be able to see it if you live in the UK. Well, you can, but there are ways around it, which I'll describe. But you can't using just a normal browser. It continues. The significant change will be that this UK user-posted content will not be viewable by any other UK user, but will be visible to other users outside the UK. Right. So when you upload videos, and I'll try and upload this one, it will still be visible to people in other countries. It will. I just won't be able to watch it in the UK unless I take certain measures, which I'll describe in a minute. Carries on. Users outside the UK may comment on that content, which the creator will continue to be able to read, delete, block, reply, and flag. Right. So I'll be able to, when I do my reply to comments video, I will be able to do the usual thing when it comes to dealing with comments on the actual channel. And I'll be able to manage my channel in the usual way. That's good. That's good. Users outside the UK may share UK user-produced content to other users outside of the UK as normal. In other words, for users in the UK, including content creators, the Bitchute platform is no longer a user-to-UK user video sharing service. Right, well, it could be worse. It could be worse. For now, this is not too bad, and I'll come to how it could get worse, because I'm going to have to face that possibility. It continues. We deeply regret the inconvenience and disappointment this decision may cause our UK users and partners. I'm sure they do, and I'm sorry. I really am. I mean, if I was in their position, what would I do? Would I just continue to go the usual way and then become a false martyr, or would I try and find a way around the law, which is what Ray and his team has done, which is good. It continues. This decision was not taken lightly. It reflects our commitment to maintaining the highest standards of compliance, protecting our community, and ensuring that our platform remains a safe and sustainable space. I'll put that there a minute. Sustainable space for creative expression globally. We recognise the value of our UK community and extend our sincerest apologies for the disruption caused by this necessary step. That's okay. That's all right. I think, like I said, what would I do in their position with the government doing this? I think they're trying to accommodate us as best as they can. If they wanted to, they could simply ban every UK account there is, and Ray hasn't done that. I mean, he knows this is going to piss off Ofcom, so in a sense, he is rebelling against this in the only way he can, because Ofcom are going to be really pissed off by this, and what's going to happen is the government are now going to start they're going to start more legislation to try and cut that off, and I'll come to that in a minute. He continues. Our support team remains available to answer any queries or concerns regarding this transition. We appreciate the support and engagement of our community around the world and remain dedicated to providing a platform that champions free expression and innovative content sharing in an environment of regulatory certainty. Thank you for your understanding. UK regulation, community guidelines. So that's kind of the gist of it. This is what you get if you go to Bitchute now in the UK. That's what you see. You will see that page, which is just saying what I've just read out. So what I will continue to do, I will continue to do exactly as Ray says there. I will continue to post content to Bitchute, and I really appreciate all my viewers and my followers on alt tech social media, especially at this time, my subscribers on BitChute. I very much appreciate that. I will no longer be able to comment on for example, I regularly comment on other people's videos, and I can't do that anymore. So apologies to all the people I subscribe to. I won't be able to comment anymore because I'm a big BitChute fan. I love BitChute. I really do. But this is the situation as it is right now. It could get better. It could get worse. But anyway, there's a long history for this. For example, let me just show you this website here. Okay, this is from the Sociable. This is from 20. I'm going to show you 2 pages from 2020. This is from August the 7th, 2020. And it says Twitter is flagging links to BitChute videos as potentially harmful and unsafe. Well, luckily, because of Elon, they don't do that anymore. And it says here, users on Twitter today are finding it difficult to share and open links to the video platform BitChute as they are flagged as potentially harmful and unsafe. And there we go. Styx Hexenhammer, Twitter has decided to ban, and he hasn't even used the word links. So there you are. That's Tim Pool has retweeted Styx there. On Friday morning, I saw that popular news commentator Tim Pool had tweeted that Twitter was blocking him from sharing BitChute videos, so I decided to test it myself, and this is what happened. Something went wrong. Right. A notice appeared at the bottom of the stream. We can't complete this request because the link has been identified by Twitter, our partners, as being potentially harmful. Visit our help center. To verify or not whether or not this was an issue with the content of the video, or whether it was simply because it was hosted on BitChute, I decided to share the exact same video that Pool had uploaded to his YouTube channel, and voila, I was able to share it without a problem. There you go. At the time of this publication, it appears that Twitter is censoring links to BitChute, regardless of the actual content of the videos that users are attempting to share. I can't wait to see what Elon says about this. There we go. This is what they used to do. I mean, they don't do that anymore, luckily. Okay, and I'm not actually going to show you this website because, you know, these people are so litigious and so censorious that just simply showing you the website could be enough to get this video flagged. I'm talking, of course, about the Anti-Defamation League. This is a group that has given this is the group that has led the campaign against David Icke. And it says here, there's another one from August 2020, and it says here, BitChute, a hotbed of hate. Under the guise of anti-censorship and free speech, the video hosting service BitChute has become a hotbed for violent, conspiratorial and hate-filled video propaganda, a recruiting ground for extremists. BitChute founder Ray Vahi's concept for the platform came from, in his words, seeing an increased level of censorship by large media platforms in the last couple of years. Yeah. Vahi's vision has become a reality, and today many of the YouTube accounts demonized or banned due to community standard violations are migrating to his platform to disseminate their vitriolic content. And it gives a list. You could almost, these articles could almost write themselves, couldn't they? Calling for extermination of various peoples, demographics, vilifying demographics, demonizing demographics, the LGBTQ plus community, Muslims, etc. Again, I mean, there are laws in place against incitement that already exists, and BitChute actually has been removing content that directly incite criminal activity. So I don't know what they're talking about here. For white supremacists, BitChute is a safe haven where they can spread vitriol and recruit members. Oh, see, so it's like it goes on and on again about various groups. Patriot Front, Proud Boys, Stormfront, Road to Power, etc., etc. Does it mention David Icke? It doesn't. It mentions the Ku Klux Klan, but usually they'll mention they mention E. Michael Jones. Goodness me, what's wrong with him? Oh, they mentioned Brian Rue, who's actually quite a harmless person, etc. Alex Jones, of course, is now on BitChute because he's been banned from everywhere else. It doesn't mention David Icke, but basically it's the usual story. So That's the situation. I'm just going back to my notes now. So what can you do? What can you do? Right. As I said, this as BitChute is very subtly and very calmly resisting, as it is saying it's still going to allow UK users like me to post content and comments. It just shows that Ray does have balls. I'll tell you, he's made some mistakes, as I've explained in previous videos, but he's got balls. The what you might call sensible thing to do, what a lot of people would do in this situation, who don't care really, who are just cowed in submission by this law, would simply, like I say, delete every single UK account. He could have done that, and he hasn't. And for that, I'm very grateful to him. I really am grateful to him. Thank you. So what you can do, though, you can watch BitChute content. You can, if you use a virtual private network. Okay, so it's very easy. There's so many. There are some of them you pay for. I mean, obviously, if you pay for one, you will get a better service. But there's plenty of really good free ones. I use the Tor browser. It's completely free. You just download it, and it's quite effective for a free service. It's pretty effective. And I mean, I've not tried, but about 4 times out of 6, for example, I can access a BitChute video. Sometimes I have to refresh and start again, but I've not come across a video on BitChute I can't access, because you see, there were already a few users and a few accounts that I couldn't access, and a few videos that I couldn't access because they were banned from videos. Like there's a user called Iceni Rising. Now he's a British YouTuber who I sub to, and I used to comment on his videos. And now, whenever I try to access an Iceni Rising video, I immediately get a slide comes up just saying this video is banned in your country. So then I just copy the URL. I go to Tor. I put it in a Tor. And sometimes I have to refresh it a few times, but I can always eventually access the video. And I think it's going to be similar to that. It's just every single video now on BitChute is the same as Iceni Rising. But of course, this isn't going to be the end of it. As soon as I saw this, the first thing I did was I went immediately to Odyssey and Rumble, and I checked they were all right, and they are. Odyssey and Rumble at the moment are their service is normal. They've not been affected by this. But how long will that last? I don't know. I don't know how long that will last. The same goes for Gab, Minds, MeWe. This is plethora, and it's a really, really good thing this exists. This absolutely vast array of alt tech social media. And again, my heart goes. I'm not going to do it. As Elon would say, my heart goes out to you. I'm not going to do the gesture, but I'm really, really grateful to all the alt techies. I really am. And Elon is one of us now, of course. I'm really, really grateful to all those people who've created these websites. I'm a member of every single one I can find. There's others that are like pill.net. There's Brighteon. There's Minds. There's Getter, Truth Social. That's Trump's Truth Social. It's really there's a huge second internet, essentially, and I've often said this is going to be the same thing. So it's possible that the Online Safety Act is now going to target other websites. BitChute is kind of low-hanging fruit. Ofcom have been attacking BitChute for many years. The reason it's low-hanging fruit because it does tend to be the one where the most extreme people tend to gather. And by extreme, some of them are criminal, others not, but they all tend to congregate on BitChute. It's also low-hanging fruit because it is a British company, but they will try to come for the others. So we could be in the same situation soon with Odyssey, Rumble, etc. How that might affect, for example, live streaming, because for example, a Panwo Radio, which I live stream on Rumble with my Panwo Media account, if that becomes a problem with Rumble, it's obviously going to cause a big problem with live streaming. And of course, the government are now probably planning a new bill to get around this loophole that Ray is using to allow us users, content creators on BitChute, to continue to upload content. So he's going to say, well, it's not enough. The government is going to say It's not enough that UK users can no longer see BitChute. We have to stop them from using it. So they're going to create a new law, because currently the OSA doesn't actually allow this. They'll create another law. This is my prediction. And my last prediction was true, so this one might be. They're going to create a new law which will mean that UK users cannot even use BitChute, even to create content that's not visible in the UK, which will essentially force Ray to delete every account from a UK user. That's what they're going to try and do. At that point, I don't know what Ray will do or what he can do. Obviously, I'll just do the most I can. I'll just simply do the most I can to support him. But again, I don't expect him to become a false martyr. I expect him to try and continue to find loopholes around this. And I will do everything I can, obviously, as a user and content creator, to do the same. I've said before, and I've said many times, the internet now is essentially splitting into two. There's going to be mainstream internet and alternative internet, and this gap is going to widen and deepen as time moves on. And what's more, the alternative internet is going to grow. It's going to expand, and it's going to have to find all kinds of ways of operating in a world in which the state is continuously trying to suppress it. The good news is that it's actually impossible completely to censor the internet. It's impossible to do it completely. There's always going to be a way around it. To completely censor and completely restrict the internet, we often hear about the great shutting and the day the internet shuts down and things like that. It's actually not possible physically to do that, unless you would have to uninvent the computer and uninvent phone lines, because you'd have to, because there's always ways of setting up networks and things like that. So there's always going to be a way out of this for the people, as long as there's enough people on our side who have the skills to do this. And Elon Musk is one of them. He's one of the most powerful men in the world now. As long as that is the case, then there's going to be ways around this. I don't have those skills. I rely on other people who do have those skills, and I'll do everything I can to support them from my side. One thing, I will not comply. I will not resist. I will not comply. I will resist. I am going to upload this video to YouTube as normal, and YouTube can do with it as they will. But I'm going to say what I want with this video. I was considering making this an alt tech exclusive. I'm not going to do that. If this video vanishes from YouTube, then you'll have proof of everything I've said here. And I'll do another video directing you to the alt tech exclusive that it has become. Yeah, you're going to have a mainstream internet that's going to have cat videos and unboxing and makeup tutorials and marble racing. Yeah, what's marble racing, Ben? I've described this before. Well, if you thought the lard eating competition at Weird Weekend North was disgusting, just try watching a marble racing video. A marble racing video is not what it sounds like. You get marbles, right, and you race them, but you don't roll them down a hill or something. What you do is the people involved in this sport swallow them, and then they time how long it takes them to basically pass through you and come out the other end. Believe it, that is a sport, believe it or not. But that will be tolerated on YouTube. It's going to be all the boring mainstream stuff is going to be on YouTube and Facebook and all the big Silicon Valley platforms. Twitter at the moment is now edging over to the alternative side. So I think, and I won't call it X, I'm still going to call it Twitter. It's edging over to the alternative side. So and it'll be on the alternative side. That's where all the interesting stuff will be. That's where the conspiracy theories will be, the radical politics, the paranormal and all that sort of thing. That will all be on the alternative side. There are too many of us now, and we're too vocal and we're too outspoken and we're too tough and resilient for this to work in the long run. This is an IT arms race. At the moment, the Empire has struck back, but the Jedi will return. I promise you that. So yeah, I'm pissed off about this. I'm upset. I mean, when I saw it, I went, oh my God, my jaw dropped. I gasped. I sent an email to Sweeps Fox. And I said, can you see it? I'm just waiting to see actually if he actually, I don't know if he's replied to me yet. Let's have a look. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read Sweeps's email. Obviously it's private, but yeah, I'll, no doubt he'll have something to say about this. He said, but yeah, Sweeps is. He's just sent me an email here where he's as indignant and upset as I am. But this is disgusting. It's just Keir Starmer is the lowest of the low. He's a despicable prime minister. For legal reasons, I won't say anything more about him right now. But I really despise the man. He's got no right. He's not fit for office. He has no place being a leader of any free democratic nation, and he should not be allowed to sit in office. He should be removed from office by any means within the law. So I know, but the next election's 4 years away. I know, but things can come out of left field. We'll put it that way. They have done in other occasions, and they will do now. Now, see, I think this is a general crackdown, because of what's happened with Marine Le Pen in France. If you Yeah, I mean, I wrote an article about that as well. Like I said, I don't cover everything. People say, well, you've not mentioned Marine Le Pen. You've not made a video about Marine Le Pen, Ben. Some of you will be saying, I know. The reason is because I've written a Panmo Voice article about her. Where is it? Here we go. If you can't beat them, ban them. That's the article there. You can read that if you want. Okay, so I don't cover everything on Panmo TV, but I do cover everything on all my different outlets on the Her Panmo franchise. So I do advise, as always, for you to follow all my outlets, the blogs, the radio show, and video sharing sites, because it is a multimedia experience, Her Panmo. So I think you need to follow me, follow all those things if you want to have the full Her Panmo experience. And as always, like if you're watching this on YouTube and you have not subbed to me on Alt Tech, please go to all the Alt Tech sites I just mentioned and sub to me there. So, as I said, BitChute if you can, obviously, but also Gab, Minds, MeWig, Getter, Odyssey, Rumble, Pilled, Brighton, Truth Social. Please do go and follow me on all those platforms. I'm easy to find. I use the same username on nearly all of them. So fear not, ladies and gentlemen. Freedom will reign. We are humanity, and the good guys always win in the end. As Mahatma Gandhi said, there is a natural arc of the universe. It bends towards justice. He said all the, dictatorial tyrannies as a tautology, isn't it? But you know what I mean. Oppressive regimes have always risen. They can become very powerful, and for a while they can seem to be unbreakable. They can seem to be immovable, and they're forever because they're so powerful. But they always fall in the end. Always think about that. Always. It doesn't matter what he's saying is, and I agree with him actually. I don't go along with this backslapper line about, oh man, everything's pointless, man, and there's human nature. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and there's no, I don't go along with that. I think there is an ethical element to nature, to the universe itself, and I have confidence, that the good guys win in the end, just like in the movies. If I'm wrong, of course you'll find out, but I don't think I am. And the backslappers will say, hey, Ben, man, you're naive. You're naive. You're not as streetwise as we backslappers, man. All right. Well, the backslappers can have their laugh while they still can. But remember, he who laughs last laughs loudest. As always. So I can't really add any more except to say this is kind of an emergency video that I've decided to make. And the normal service will continue. Yeah, I said I was going to take this week off. I'm now not, but the weekend coming, there's going to be another video. I've already got it planned. I'm taking a little trip, so it's going to be a on location one, which I know you guys love. So thank you for watching the Panmo TV. It will long continue. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.